All right. Well, welcome to another edition of the R&R Show. I'm your host, Michael Roope, and this is my co-host, William Rumsey. Hello, William.
Howdy.
All right. Well, our third and final stop of the Dearborn High School football tour brings us to St. Leon, Indiana, my alma mater, home of the East Central Trojans, and we are joined by second-year head coach Jake Miners. Hello, Jake.
Welcome, guys. Thank you for coming out today.
Hey, well, we appreciate you having us. Obviously, we got a big game coming up. Yeah. I know you got a lot going on, a lot to prep for, so I appreciate you taking the time. Basically, we'll jump right in here, Jake. This is your second year. That first year, for people that don't know, you've been a lifelong Trojan. You were on the 2008 football team. You were captain and MVP of that team. Does it feel good to come back and be able to now get to lead the Trojans on the field?
Yeah, I tried to tell people, it's surreal being able to have the opportunity to come back and to lead the program that I spent so much time in as a young man. And, I started here for 3 years. At quarterback and was able to lead, some good football teams there.
Absolutely.
But when Coach Stonefield called me up initially, I was up in Franklin County for a year out of college, coaching football up there. And, a position opened up here. Coach Stonefield called me, gave me the opportunity, and I jumped at it. And so, I've kind of coached a little bit of everything over the years. I still have a young coaching career here, but the way things have worked out, I was just fortunate with the opportunity to be able to step in as the head coach last year and really enjoy the moment here.
Yeah, and absolutely. And what a year it was. Obviously, like I had mentioned, 11-1 record, and many of those weeks at a number one ranking. That's got to be pretty satisfying to come out of the gate and have a stellar season like you did last year.
Yeah, and all that, is a credit to our players. That senior class had gone through 3 head coaches. I was the third head coach that they had played under, and I talked with the guys day one of, hey, look, I understand you guys have been through 3 head coaches. Everybody does things a little bit differently, but I just need you guys to commit to being East Central Trojans. I need you guys to commit to being the team, and that senior class was great. They led our team last year. A lot of great players that moved on from us now, but they really had a fantastic season. I couldn't have asked for anything more from them.
Oh, yeah, and speaking of basically that, I don't think you wanted to, when you came in, probably wanted to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. There's a tradition here at East Central, and that is playing a brand of physical smash mouth football. And I don't think that's any different than what you're probably instilling in the kids.
Yeah. Growing up, that was instilled into me. That tradition, that style, that brand of football, and it's been so successful over the years. When Coach Roden came in, he was the first head coach that I coached under here. When he came in, he continued on with that tradition. Then Coach Stonefield took back over again for a year to instill that tradition and that brand back in. So as one of the administrators has told me in the past, here's the keys to convertible. Don't wreck there because it's just a style, it's a brand, it's an attitude that we preach from when kids first step on our Pee Wee fields up until they get in a high school level, and it's successful. So no, those are things we still preach to this day.
So last year, was there a moment, like maybe in a game or in a practice, you're like, this is my team?
Yeah, I don't know if there was really like a true moment, but sitting back, I think in that Lawrenceburg game last year with all of the media, with all the attention for that game, because Lawrenceburg had a great football team, we had a great football team.
We were there.
I just kind of took a step back and appreciated the venue. The Pit is a great venue within Indiana to play in, and just kind of look back and say, you know what. Well, I'm the head coach here. So, I'm the head coach, and I got to try to lead these guys to the best of my abilities and hope that we're successful within the game.
And when you said taking the keys to the convertible, when people at home think of basically the New England Patriots of high school football, typically in southeastern Indiana, you think of East Central Trojans to the tune of, I believe, 26 conference championships, 19 sectionals, 9 Final Fours, and I believe 4 state. Making it to 4 state, winning 2 of those. I mean, that is the epitome of success, and I think it's got to be good to take the keys, like you said, to that convertible, and let's keep on moving on.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of pressure with
that too. There's
a ton of pressure because if you're not living up to that tradition and that hype, you know, that comes with consequences too. But in my mind, you know, I've always been one to try to take on challenges. I try to instill that in our players. You know, we preach to our guys. We don't win games because we have Trojans across our chest.
Exactly.
We win games because of the attitude and the effort within practice and what we do, and that, you know, that translates into success. And so, you know, we came up a little bit short last year of some of those accolades, but you know, we strive for those. And you said, you know, you had mentioned, you know, when you think about Southeastern Indiana football, you think about the East Central Trojans, and what I've tried to do is really challenge our players, and now let's push beyond those limits of Southeastern Indiana, and, you know, let's go challenge the state. So when people think of, you know, right now people probably think about New Pal probably as the team in the state of Indiana, or Cathedral or Chittard or those type of teams. But why can't our name be up there with those guys? And in order to do that, we have to win a lot of football games. We have to do it in a certain way because all those teams are very successful in the way that they operate. But there's no reason it can't be us too, and that's going to take years of, you know, winning sectional championships, of competing for state championships to put our name up there with those schools.
Now, and I think you have Chittard and Roncalli on your schedule this year. Have you ever played those in the regular season before?
So we played Chittard a couple years ago under Coach Roden. They actually were in place of that Roncalli game right before we went into playoffs, and you know, they were competitive games. We shoot ourselves in the foot because we're like, man, you know, there's opportunities to win, but there's competition there, and that's why we love those matchups. We love taking on the Roncallis of the world, the Chittards of the world, because in order for us to get in those conversations and to be an elite football team, we have to go and compete and to beat those style of football teams.
That's life in a nutshell.
Well, and what I've always loved about East Central is, you know, we've never shied away from playing those top tiered programs, and we don't believe in a cupcake schedule. We want to get battle tested for the bigger prize, which is the playoffs and moving on. And obviously, you know, it's bad that we didn't get that Harrison game in this year, but you've obviously replaced it with, you know, a couple of high level teams with Chittard and Moeller. I mean, that's a traditional power. And in between your non-conference schedules, I think there's like 32 state titles between those three teams, which, you know, that's not cupcake.
No, not at all.
And so, well, when, you know, it's unfortunate we lost the Harrison game because, you know, that's such a great rivalry within the communities, and they're two competitive football teams. But I'm not really too displeased that we get to hang on to that trophy again for another year. So I guess I can't complain about that.
Silver lining.
That's right.
Yeah, you know, when we saw those openings, you know, we were talking to several different schools, and Coach Schoenfield and I, it's one of the things that Coach Schoenfield's so good at is, you know, because he's so well connected and very well respected within the football world. And, you know, these schools started calling us, and I'm like, yeah, man, let's get these guys on the schedule. And he goes, are you sure? He goes, are you sure? You just went 11-1 last year. And I said, well, what? You know, that's still our mindset.
That's right.
Our mindset's still to go and win every game, but we need to challenge ourselves. We need to compete because what we're trying to do is put our kids in big moments. And not with Lawrence right out of the gate, just the first three games with Lawrenceburg and Chittard and then Moeller, our kids are going to be thrown to the fire. And so hopefully by the time, you know, we reach those playoffs, well, we're battle tested. We've been through those moments. We've been through those challenges, and now we can rise to the occasion. Now, our mindset still go win those games. We still want to, but we know that it's going to be a battle and it's going to be a grind, and we're going to have to play our best football in order to win those games.
Now, do you guys relish, you know, typically Central is, for a lot of teams, that's their Super Bowl. And we're always going to get everybody else's best, you know, game, best, you know, effort. Do you guys relish that, or is that, do you guys, you know, boy, it's such a grind, you know, getting everybody's best effort all the time?
You know, personally, it's just been my mindset. Coach Stonefield instilled that in me when I played. We relish those opportunities.
Absolutely.
And I talk to our players all the time about we have a target on our back. And and to be proud about that, because over the years, I mean, you played through here, I played through here. Over the years, those teams have been so successful that now these kids have the target on their back because those teams want to beat East Central, and it comes with challenges. I mean, we see more trick plays, we see more different defenses that we've never seen.
The whole kitchen sink.
Because they want to throw it and they want to win that game. And what I love about it is then our kids have to rise to the occasion. There's no weeks off. There's no weeks off. If you want to go undefeated in a regular season, you better bring your best football week in and week out.
Absolutely.
So obviously this week, big game Friday night here at Trojan Field against Lawrenceburg. So how do you game plan for the dual threats like Yoon and Bird? How do you game plan for something like that?
Yeah, so
you can talk about it.
Yeah, so fortunately, Coach Schwartz and Coach Kirchgasser have spent a lot of time down there. And there's a lot of cross. Coach Kaniga's coached up here. He coached up here when I played. They went through here, so Coach Manford as well. So there's a lot of crossover. So there's no secrets between us. But when we go, when we approach a Garrett Yoon, I don't think there's a mindset that you're going to shut him down each and every play. I think there's just an overall game plan of how can we limit the opportunities of him having those big plays. And if we can make him and Bird and their high-powered offense stacked together series, there's more opportunities for a high school player to maybe turn the ball over or something along those lines. And on the flip side, the challenge is on our offense to help out our defense to make sure that Yoon's not getting more opportunities than what he should get within a game. Because last year we ran 8 plays in the first half. And we were fortunate to be up 14-12, but we ran 8 plays.
Not many.
And if we do that again this year, to Yoon that has now coming back as a third-year starter as a junior, the statistics are not good. It doesn't work in our favor, and so we're just trying to limit the damage with him. He's a great football player, fantastic young man, and hopefully we can limit some of his big plays and big opportunities on Friday.
Good deal. Thank you.
Well, now, as far as like last year's team, I mean, you had some great talent that has graduated, not only as great players, but great leaders and young men. Ertl, Crumman, Dunneworth, Ryan, Shreway, Becker. I mean, there's quite a few of them. I mean, how do you – that's a lot of production and leadership gone. Do you feel like you have a good nucleus in place to take over for them?
Yeah, I always do. And the great thing about coaching at our program is that we have so many sophomores and juniors that are fighting those seniors for playing time. And so those guys are really ready to play varsity football, but they might be sitting behind a senior that's in front of them. So, Coach Stonefield, I know I keep talking about him, but he's really the one who's bred me for this position. But he always likes to say, graduation's a healthy thing. Those seniors, we try to make them, better football players, better young men, so that when they leave us, but it's the next team and the next group's opportunity. And every group has different dynamics within them. So the group of seniors right now have really bonded, especially through the situation that we have been in and having gone through. And those seniors last year left them with the blueprint to be successful, and so our guys now, that nucleus is trying to not exactly copy it because they got to do it their own way and stuff, but the blueprint is there and it's in front of them, and that's the tradition that's been passed down throughout the years. And so this group is really starting to come together and find their way, and it's kind of neat.
Do you have any outstanding position battles still going on before Friday?
Yeah, and I think every coach goes through it, every year when you have open positions. We have a few. You mentioned a few defensive linemen that we graduated. There's a few spots there that we're still battling out for. Same with the offensive side of the line. Some get spots in the secondary, and I don't think those will be solved week 1, week 2, week 3. I think you'll see some different faces in those games because we're trying to find what is the best mix for us to develop. Then when we get towards the playoffs, those are our players, and we do play a lot of kids too, and so even though we might have some starters, a lot of guys will be rotating within.
And the cupboard is not necessarily bare from last year because you guys are returning 7 starters on offense and 4 on defense. What do you guys foresee yourself, being offensively? what kind of ratio as far as a pass run? Do you feel like you're going to lean on the big lineman?
Sure. Well, I think every year as coaching staff, you try to be as balanced as possible. You try to be 50-50. It's no secret here at East Central. We're never 50-50.
No.
So I don't know exactly where that percentage falls, but what we do is we teach our brand of football, our style of football. We're going to play stout defense. We're going to play tough defense. We're going to really challenge your run game and make you try to beat us through the air. On offense, we're going to try to instill our will in the run game, and then we'll try to play action off of you. And I don't think that's any secret.
No.
Now, within a game, I don't know where that. We
falls.
never know where that line is. So I don't like to. I'm not going to tell you that we're going to be 50-50 because you might be like, "Hey, Jake, well, you're 80-20," and what's the deal?
Now, as a quarterback, a former quarterback, did you ever have the inkling of wanting just to air it out because being a former quarterback yourself?
Yes and no. I mean, there's a part of me that you look at a secondary and you want to throw because you're a former quarterback. You want your quarterbacks to have an opportunity to do that. But we know it's not what's best for our team. And we know I grew up playing this style, this brand of football, and I believe in it. And so you have to step back. And that's one of the challenges my first couple of years of coaching was, man, I want to throw the ball all the time. But over the years you develop, you understand why the coaches who are great coaches before you instilled this type of offense, instilled this type of defense, and you start understanding it. And, Coach Belmer's back behind us. He's still there. Coach Roth is out here occasionally, and so you start talking to some of these coaches that put in this style of system, and you really get into it and understand. Okay, this is why this works.
Is why, well, and I don't think it's a bad thing not to pass because as William and I came out here and seeing the size of that line that you have, I mean, you got some pretty big guys. You want to talk a little bit about them as far as that line unit? I mean, is that you expect big things from that line?
Yeah, and it starts with obviously Luke Collinsworth, who's coming back. He's a 3.5-year starter for us, 4-year starter because he started halfway through his freshman year. Is when he came onto the varsity scene, and he's never left since. And so he's a big guy. He's committed to UC. We do expect big things out of him. And then Tyler Dickerson's coming back for us at guard, and Austin Cox is coming back at center. Then the other guard and tackle position, we have some battles going on there. But all those kids can play varsity football, and the nice part about having Coach Belmer developing offensive linemen is a lot of schools like to say they're DBU or something along those lines. Well, offensive line's really been the calling card of East Central High School, and it starts with Coach Belmer, and he's done such a good job of developing this group. And so, I think we will lean on them definitely, early.
I don't think that's a bad strategy at all.
So, based on scrimmages, practices, is there a player that you see taking a big leap from last year that maybe isn't getting the pub that he should?
Sure. Well, and I think kid that you're going to see getting a lot of running back reps on Friday night is Hunter Sones. He was a young running back in our program last year. We had an injury at linebacker, and he actually stepped over. I think it was 3 or 4 days before we actually played Lawrenceburg last year into linebacker for his first time, and so as a sophomore. So he spent all last year kind of developing there at linebacker. So you'll see him at linebacker, you'll see him at running back, and see him at different parts of the field. But we got a lot of guys that might have played different roles last year, but now we're expecting big things out of them this year. And we look, and this kid played a lot of football last year, but we look for Ryan Bond to take that next step as a quarterback. He started for the first time as a junior last year. Now he's a senior. It's his team. It's his offense. And for him to be able to step in as a senior and truly run that offense, we look for him to take those steps.
We saw him throw some great balls out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're talking about Hunter, bringing up Hunter. I do want to jump into this a little bit. You had your running back, Mr. Fike. Is he a little banged up, obviously, coming into the Lawrenceburg game? Do we expect him back this year? And if so, how long do you think he may or may not be out?
Yeah, so, he got banged up a little bit in practice last week. We kept him out of the scrimmage. He's definitely out week 1. We don't foresee this being a season-ending injury whatsoever.
Good.
We don't know. We know he's out week 1.
Yep.
It could be the week after. It could be the following week. We're not real sure. But our objective for him is he's a team captain.
Yep.
He's very well respected in our program. A lot of people know who he is, and that's because of the way he carries himself. And so he's really bought into coaching those young players. He knows he's out this week, but how can he make a difference in this game still? And so you'll still see him on the sideline trying to coach everybody up. And
that's good leadership right there.
Yeah. And losing a kid like that for a week, you hate it for this game. You hate it for him. Injuries, you just hate.
Part of it.
But it's a part of it, and that's why we try to build depth here. And that's why we, of our 125 football players, we try to build that depth. And so at every level, we're confident with the next guy who steps in. We try to have that next man up mentality, and there's no excuses. I mean,
and I like that. There's no excuses. It is what it is. Next man up, and East Central always embodies that.
So I just have a few more questions. So looking at Max Preps this week, you guys started last week, I think, ranked number 4. Now you're up to number 3. Do you think that's too high, too low? Do you guys even look at that?
To be honest, that's the first time I've heard about this.
Okay.
Occasionally I might see a poll. I definitely am not the type that seeks them out. We're fortunate because of the tradition and past teams that generally preseason people like to rank us up there, but we don't know. This is a totally different group from the last year's group, and we don't know. We know Lawrenceburg's up there too because they have a good football team and they're well respected in the state, and so our objective is to go beat Lawrenceburg. And is it number 3 right now? I don't know. Our goal for this team is to be number 1 at the end of the year, and that's what we try to preach.
Well, that's what I think we definitely are looking forward to. And I know William and I are looking forward to a lot of stops on the Trojan schedule. So we look forward to the upcoming year. And Coach, we appreciate you taking the time, and we'll be out there on Friday to take in the game.
And I have just one last question. I've asked the other coaches. Your mantra. Do you guys have a mantra this year that do you change that every year?
Coaches do different things. There's a phrase that's around our program that's tradition of excellence. That's a phrase that's been around here for a long time.
Oh yeah.
But each coach has their own style. I told our guys in January that it was going to be relentless because we were going to give relentless effort no matter what we do. Then we had the pandemic hit there in March, and so
added a wrinkle.
Yeah. So I kind of stepped back from that since we've been back, and I've just been trying to preach to our players, enjoy the moment. Because we don't know if this is our last practice out here. We don't know if tomorrow's our last practice. If game 1's going to happen. So when we get there, to really enjoy just the fact that you get an opportunity to play football on Friday night. And it looks like that we're going to get that opportunity here on Friday night. And so we need to enjoy playing a county rival. For our seniors, they didn't know, 2 weeks ago if this was going to happen, and it looks like it's going to happen. And so for them to enjoy the moment.
Absolutely.
Now, enjoy the moment doesn't mean just sit back and smile and take everything in.
No.
Enjoying the moment means that we're going to do our job. We're going to give relentless effort. We're going to do our job.
Good deal. That's all I have.
Coach,
Thanks,
we
Coach.
appreciate you taking the time, and look forward to seeing you on Friday, buddy.
Thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you, bud.